What's up guys, it's the Unhinged Engineer here, and today I want to talk about something that I have seen just all over the news for the last however many months. If you've been living under a rock, you may have missed the fact that markets and just about every type of security, whether it's stocks and ETFs, crypto, real estate, whatever, all the markets are incredibly volatile right now. And by volatile, I mean swinging up and unfortunately down a lot of the time. And so, like, you go on the internet and you see a lot of people talking about the death of this or the death of that. But there are also people who, if they believe in the underlying asset, say to buy the dip, right? There's this concept of buying the dip, which means if you believe in some kind of asset and you believe that it will continue to go up for the foreseeable future, anytime it goes down, it's not actually a negative because you're not going to sell at that bottom because you still believe in it and you believe it's going to go up more. So it's just an opportunity to buy more at a discount. And so people double down and go crazy. Now, a lot of people lose their money like that. This is not financial advice, but I do want to apply this concept to engineering and specifically software engineering. So again, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen tons and tons of news about how AI is automating all of our jobs away, specifically knowledge workers or quote unquote white collar jobs. There was actually a pretty noticeable sector crash within the stock market of SaaS businesses, so software as a service businesses. This idea was, now that we're gonna have AI be able to do all sorts of administrative, legal, financial, or accounting, whatever, all kinds of knowledge work, engineering as well, then all these SaaS businesses are just gonna be useless because we're gonna have AI agents do it themselves. So either A, these SaaS businesses will just be undercut, or B, new SaaS businesses will have to emerge in order to service AI clients instead of human clients, right? So people are saying, you know, coding is dead, software engineering is dead, knowledge work is dead, whatever. And if you want to believe that, then this is definitely not the channel for you. All I do all day is make content about how to lead a successful career in engineering. But if you don't believe that, and you believe that engineering and technology will continue to be valuable going into the 21st century, then this is just an opportunity to quote, buy the dip. In other words, when everyone else is running around like chickens with no head, you can go out and acquire skill sets and work experience with way less competition. And so the kind of Darwinian, Machiavellian perspective on this is every person who's scared away from coding based on AI hype or whatever the hell else is one less person for you to have to compete with. So if you want to think of it in the zero-sum way, then there's another reason to definitely get into this field. My only point with this pretty off-the-cuff video is just that I see lots and lots of stuff out there catastrophizing how bad various job markets within engineering have become. And by the way, I'm guilty of this too, right? One of my top performing videos is about computer science being cooked. Like, I'm not stupid. I understand that this is something I've done. This is something that the industry of engineering and engineering professional development has really done. Everybody is buying into this AI hype, and as a result, kind of shorting against human knowledge, right? And as much as I'm a fan of AI, I use AI every day, and I work in AI in a way, I don't buy the idea that we're all gonna be out of a job. Otherwise, I'd be in trade school right now learning something new with my hands that I could do until robots take that over too, right? I don't buy that. I think the way in which we work is gonna change, and I am constantly retooling such that I'm working at the cutting edge and I'm adaptable and I can handle these changes in the market. Versus if I just kind of threw my hands up and said, oh, well, you know what, I guess I'm gonna lose my job to AI, then I would become immobile, right? I would stop learning. And then I'm just being compared against the baseline of a random average engineer in 2026. And you know who's way better than the baseline of your average engineer? Just about any AI model. Even if you believe that the majority of engineering jobs and careers, whatever, are gonna get automated away by AI models, there will always be work for experts, for the best of us. There will always be work for those people. At a minimum, policing these AI models and making sure they're on track. But I would posit as well other ways too. If you look at old footage of like engineers working on Apollo, or even the Apollo movie with Tom Hanks, you see them all like using these giant sheets of graph paper, and they're drawing everything out by hand, and they're doing hand calculation. They had people called computers whose job it was to just sit around and do arithmetic all day. They were called computers. And then digital computers, as we know them, came along. And there was all this catastrophe about the internet is gonna automate away all our jobs, and it was the advent of this Keynesian era of the 4-hour work week, right? That didn't happen. The reality is the way in which we worked changed. People adapted or didn't, but the people who did adapt and kind of bought that dip, right? Bought that dip specifically after the dot-com crash in 2000, were able to ride this like incredible period of growth into the 21st century where they bought at this dip. They bought at this point where technology had crashed and a lot of people had lost their jobs, unfortunately, and people thought that internet was this overhyped fad. Lo and behold, it was not. We are still here. I'm making this video for you on the internet. To reiterate, when you hear people talk about AI models or OpenClaw or whatever else, for the record, all of this stuff is incredibly fascinating and exciting as an engineer. Like, I'm excited to be able to use these tools. I'm not like a doomer on it. Like, I think it's great and it's gonna change how we work and make us all more productive. It's made me more productive, but nonetheless, I think I've literally seen people write BC or before Claude. Right now this is BC, and I guess now we're in AD, whatever. Someday, 20 years from now, we're gonna look back and be like, what? Like, humans had to write code in a programming language and they couldn't just write it in plain English and then have an AI model vibe code everything? Like, what are you talking about? I think you might hear a conversation go something like, oh man, I can't believe people used to code without AI tools. Like, that conversation may happen, but this idea that we're just gonna get fossilized in this way and be lost to time as this new wave of AI models completely automate us away and we lose all our jobs and the future companies of the world are just gonna be one-man shows. I just don't buy that vision, right? And the same people who hype all this stuff will also hype other hard tech companies, right? Like, I work in hard tech. Could you imagine if SpaceX were just Elon Musk with, I think SpaceX was like 20,000 employees. So Elon Musk with 20,000 Geminis. Like, is that a world in which we could imagine that happening in the near term? Probably not. Maybe 100 years from now, it'll be a bunch of robots. It'll just be one Elon, but that sounds like the plot of a dystopian sci-fi novel. But the point I'm trying to get at is, I don't envision myself losing my job to a robot within the next 5 years. So if you see a layoff video in the next couple years, you can tell me you told me so. But for right now, I'm pretty bullish on, you know, engineering, specifically aerospace engineering and hard technology, which is what I work in. And so I'm buying the dip. Like, I'm doubling down. I believe that this is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life, directly or otherwise. I believe I'm gonna be involved in this industry. Any popular doubt about the future of engineering is just more people I have the opportunity to prove wrong. And that's what I plan to do. So yeah, just like a quick off the cuff video for you guys. I didn't mention in the beginning, but I'm the Unhinged Engineer. I make professional development content for young engineers like myself. I specifically work in aerospace engineering, but if you're just about anybody looking to improve your career, work the job you want, get paid the salary you want, do all the cool stuff you always dreamed of when you were in school or even before, then this is definitely the channel for you. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.